Today I drilled 6 holes in the side of the van and fitted them with riv nuts. And when I fit riv nuts, I tend to put a drop of paint around the serrated edge there at the same time as I put some paint around the hole. And then when you do the riv nut up while the paint's wet, you get a nice ring of paint, which just helps to seal it from any rust and stuff, because obviously drilling holes in vehicles, you're always risking bit of rust appearing, but that extra bead of paint when it's wet just helps. Right, so 6 holes. I bought some of these. I'll put a link up above or below, wherever it ends up, to our little mishap on the Isle of Mull, where I use my larger, heavy yellow waffle boards. And I keep those on a shelf below the bed in the back of the van. But they're awkward to get in and out. I've got them in bags, and if they ever get dirty, they're going to be an absolute pig to clean up and put away. And I might actually use the shelf for something else. These I bought, originally I saw them advertised on eBay for 75 quid or something like that. You can get them in all sorts of colours, and I'm pretty sure they're all exactly the same thing, probably all out the same container from China. But I checked the supplier's website, and just by sheer luck, they were selling them cheaper on their website, so I bought them direct. And I'll put a link to where I bought these from. Now, purpose of this video, how I'm going to fit them on the van. As I said, I was thinking about just chucking them on the shelf, but here I have a couple of leftover bits of Unwins Track that I took out of the van. And magically, the holes, the pre-drilled holes, so I haven't had to drill anything at all, where this would have been bolted through the floor of the van, line up brilliantly with those outer holes there. They don't line up with the holes there, unfortunately, because I would have preferred to use those, but they do line up perfectly with those holes there. And these trailer catches, or whatever they're called, I bought 10 of these. I only wanted 2. These are what I used for the tilting solar panel on Project Was. So I had 8 of these left over, and I thought, oh, that's handy if I can make them fit. And then I realised, bloody brilliant. I've put a nut on this side because obviously the nuts on this side are not going to be accessible. So that's what I've used to tighten them up with. They're and I've done a very slight bend in each one just to make it work on the van. But that will give me somewhere to put these externally, because I know these things are going to get filthy, and we can then use them for, if necessary, just putting the vehicle on if the ground's wet, or using them outside the step. They're certainly a hell of a lot lighter and easier to cart about than the yellow fiberglass ones that I've got. I may not even carry the yellow fiberglass ones, as they are very heavy. Right, so I'm now going to fit this on the side of the van. But I thought before I bolted them onto the van, I'd just sort of show you how I go about installing riv nuts, just to get them up with more paint. And so I bent these. I'm going to put a little bit of my favourite sealant, PU40, along this edge here, just to remove any chance of rattling. And then I will also be putting a small drop on the threads of the screws to stop any water ingress into the riv nuts themselves. Right, let's get this bolted on. And there we have it bolted in place. The advantage with putting the nut on this side also means it spaces it out slightly. Otherwise you wouldn't be able to latch them in place. And the design of these clips is fairly self-explanatory. There's a wedge there, so they, as you push them down, they click into place and latch themselves in place, and they're actually holding that nice and securely. I'll probably need to get that little padlock or something for each one, just to slow down anyone that tried to steal them. But that's the principle. Obviously it helps if these trailer hitches are bolted the correct way up. Otherwise they'll forever be dangling down. You want them like that, so they stay sticking out when you put them on. And there you go. And that's just the potential for getting stuck in the mud covered off without getting the interior of the van filthy. Thanks for watching.